about the shakeup at the top. The president has sacked Prime Minister Amama Mbabazi and replaced him with the Minister of Health, Dr. Rugunda. The Constitution Court has dismissed the case of electoral malpractices leveled against Vice President Edward Sekandi. Also coming up, the Scottish leader concedes defeat as the majority of voters choose to stay in the United Kingdom. Once again, you're welcome to NTV at One. My name is Malcolm Sime, and we have a big story this afternoon that's making headlines: the sacking of Right Honourable Prime Minister Amama Mbabazi, the Prime Minister of Uganda, being replaced by Dr. Rugunda. Now, President Museveni has appointed the Health Minister, Dr. Rugunda, as the new Prime Minister. Dr. Rugunda replaces Amama Mbabazi, who held the position from the 24th of May 2011 until yesterday. The change was contained in a letter written to the Speaker of Parliament, Rebecca Kadaga. According to the letter which NTV has obtained, President Yoweri Museveni thanked Mbabazi for the contribution he has made to the country. In the studio now, the Chief of Uganda's Media Center and the government, also the government spokesperson, to break down this shake-up that has made news. You're welcome, Mr. Alfono Pondo.
Thank you.
Great, and your office must have good information that Ugandans are waiting for in as far as this shake-up is concerned. It isn't common for the president, to change just one person. Why has this happened now? Should we expect any more changes? Because people now will be pointing at, they'll be saying, oh, there could be a cabinet reshuffle.
Well, thank you, Sime, and to our viewers. All portfolios in cabinet, ministers of state, ministers, prime ministers, vice president, are at the prerogative of the president. And so when he chooses to change one or more, that's entirely his decision, and nobody can ask him to explain why. And therefore, the public should not expect the president to give reasons why he has removed Amama Mbabazi and has brought in Dr. Rugunda. We don't expect that from Amama Mbabazi. We don't expect that from any other person. We think, I know for a fact, the president has done it for the good of government and for the good of the party NRM.
What do you mean when you say for the good of government?
Well, as you may know, way back in 2010, the NRM NEC, National Executive Committee, made a resolution that whoever is appointed, whoever is elected Secretary General of NRM shall not be full-time. Nevertheless, the president nominated Honorable Mbabazi in 2011 March and proposed his name as Prime Minister. Caucus was sat, and Honorable Mbabazi made a public undertaking before the caucus and said, once Parliament has confirmed me as Prime Minister, I will step down, perhaps within 3 weeks. So let's see what happens. And we have waited for 3 years. Honorable Mbabazi hasn't stepped down. And so I think that must have informed the decision of the president. So Honorable Mbabazi has stopped being leader of government business. Let him concentrate in organizing our party. We need to write a new register. We need to go for organize new party organs. We need to have elections for the primaries. The president needs to have him concentrate on party organization. So that's what I'm saying, for the good of the party and good of the government.
In the president's letter, he says this takes immediate effect. Is Dr. Rugunda going to take office immediately? Is Amama Mbabazi going to vacate office? What happens? Have we bypassed the parliamentary process?
Well, my understanding is that Honorable Mbabazi the process of changing is underway. He should be organizing to leave as we speak now, leaving his office. There will obviously be officers of government, the head of public service, as you can see this letter is copied to the head of public service, secretary of the cabinet, who should be supervising his departure. Dr. Rugunda will wait until perhaps next week when the Speaker of Parliament convenes. First the committee, the Appointments Committee of Parliament, and then later on the whole Parliament of Uganda. Because the Prime Minister has to be voted on by the entire House or by the entire Parliament. So we haven't bypassed any step at all. So Rugunda will not assume the position of Prime Minister until that process is complete. But we have no doubt, looking at Dr. Rugunda's own background, historical member of NRM, somebody who reaches out to almost everyone.
And he has a huge profile.
I don't see anybody raising a finger about him. So it is more or less like a given.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Now, Amama Mbabazi now goes to organize the party, like you said, as Secretary General, and he remains Secretary General according to the communication right now. Now, I want you to briefly tell us the structures of the Secretary General's office currently as it stands.
Well, the NRM at the national level has a Central Executive Committee, which is about 23 people, including the chairman, who's our president. Below it, the National Executive Committee, National Council. We have a secretariat, which is headed by the Right Honorable Secretary General. Under him, there are directors. And
why I'm asking you this is a certain name that had come up, in the corridors, that this could be the new Secretary General. And is there going to be a fight between the young man and
absolutely not. I think that was a misunderstanding in the media. I know you are referring to the Honorable Richard Todwong. Richard Todwong is Minister without portfolio in charge of political mobilization. He is not Acting Secretary General of NRM.
That seems to override the roles of the Secretary General. You talked about mobilization and now Todwong has the same role.
A Secretary General of NRM is not appointed by the President of Uganda. Secretary General of NRM is elected by the National Conference of NRM. Political mobilization is mobilization for the public to accept government programs. For example, UP is going on, want to rehabilitate this, want to do that. Todwong is supposed to be mobilizing the public.
So the roles are well described. Okay,
yes.
Let's now move on to the critics urge and other political commentators that President Museveni is kicking Honorable Mama Mbabazi out because of his political ambition. Has it come at the right time? Are we triggering people's predictions? Is the president paying back? Challenging him.
In politics, you are damned if you do, you are damned if you don't. In the appointment of Amama Mbabazi, there is no time duration. When you are appointed, they don't say you will last 5 years or 3 years. When you lose the president's favor or pleasure for that matter, you are taken out. So there is nothing. So you are damned if you do, you are damned if you don't. But even if that were the case, then that means Amama Mbabazi is now even free to organize. His hands has been left out of government, so he's free to organize whatever ambition. He indeed qualifies if he wants to come into contest of the leadership in NRM and presidential.
Is there a feeling within the presidency that Amama Mbabazi might actually be going for a certain position, a bigger position?
Amama Mbabazi has said that publicly, that first of all, he's loyal to the leader of the party, he's loyal to the party, he's loyal to the country. He has not said so himself. There are other people. Let's wait what Amama Mbabazi said. But even if he chooses that direction, NRM
he has not said so, but is there a feeling within the system that this man could indeed be eyeing the top seat and is making Musei uncomfortable, for example?
Let us wait for Amama Mbabazi to speak for himself. And when he does so, the NRM machinery is available for him to use to come to the top. And if he chooses to not come through the NRM system, the Constitution still allows him. The NRM, so all of us serve the NRM at the pleasure of the leadership of the party collectively.
Okay.
And so when the leadership decides to move you, to shift you, we expect everybody to comply. In this case, we expect Amama Mbabazi to comply. We think so. We will do so.
What kind of message is this decision sending out? For example, to NRM supporters, we have seen, factions coming up. We've seen police arresting Amama Mbabazi's mobilizers. We've seen lots of things happening. And now you see the man being kicked out of office.
Well, leadership,
what message is this?
The role of leadership is to take the hard decisions so that you give direction. This message, this decision shows the president is giving leadership to the government, to the party, to the country. The decision may not be appealing to everyone, but he has taken the decision in his assessment, in the best interest of the country, in the best interest of the party and the government. And
I believe that the president is wise enough to, you know, change positions.
Well, first of all, Amama Mbabazi is not the first person to be. He himself replaced somebody. He himself replaced somebody. And having gone through multiplicities of reshuffles, I don't think this should be a surprise at all. Absolutely not.
Are we going to him being deployed somewhere else in a certain
Well,
ministry?
he's the Secretary General. At least according to this letter, he remains the Secretary General. The President is free
to appoint him
wherever.
Okay.
He went, yeah.
So this last one, and briefly, Honorable Mbabazi has been very instrumental in formulating some of these contracts for the oil sector. He's been very instrumental, and I think if we miss him at that level, we will have missed a very, very big brain. What do you make of that? Is he going to keep within the system?
Well, he's a backbencher of the NRM in Parliament. He's a member of the caucus. He's the Secretary General of NRM. He's the Secretary of the National Executive Committee. And therefore, his input, he still has platform to make his valuable input. Okay.
Fono Pondo, the Chief of the Government Media Center and also the Chief of the Government spokesperson. Now, scores of people converged to the Mother Kevin Postgraduate Medical School in Zambia to congratulate Dr. Ruhakana Rugunda upon his appointment as Prime Minister. And Dr. Rugunda declined to comment on his appointment, that he has starred a lot of debate on social media platforms.
Of honor, Honorable Dr. Ruhakana Rugunda, Minister of Health, now Right Honorable Prime Minister.
And lawmakers also from across the political divide have given mixed reactions regarding the appointment of Dr. Ruhakana Rugunda as Prime Minister of and some of the MPs condemned the sacking of Right Honorable Amama Mbabazi, while others praised the move. Let's have a look at some of these pictures.
That Prime Minister Amama Mbabazi had initiated a presidential chapter or a Prime Minister's question time. I got a little bit worried because as a result of the political divide which had developed between him and the President Museveni, he could no longer sustain the answering of questions in Parliament in line with the President Museveni's political dogma.
That there has been arguments on that and against that, and you never know, the appointing authority could have considered all those. So I wouldn't like to speculate, but it is within his right to appoint anyone that he wants. But given the fact that, of course, the Prime Minister has been having some other duties, could be one of the reasons. Never, do you think has told us the reasons?
So I get so worried as a citizen of this country and as a lawmaker of this country that citizens are going to pay, if the turnover of prime ministers in this country, for example, each term, should we have like two prime ministers? That therefore means the country has got to part with a lot of money also.
When Honorable Amama Mbabazi was Prime Minister and at one time Super Minister, Minister of Security, the laws that were being passed here, Honorable Amama Mbabazi didn't know that at any one single time any of them would catch up with him. I'm really very sorry for him. I feel sad for him that a big man could decide to do this to him. Sack him like an early morning chicken thief. I feel sad for him. But then,
has Honorable Amama Mbabazi committed, saying I want to compete with you? Is that a crime to dismiss him for? He said he went to the bush to fight for democracy. I thought in democracy there is competition. Not only competition from outside, but also within. All along he has been surviving. He has been surviving as an opposed. This time around, they were saying we want to introduce a new system of internal democracy within the party. We stand at Nambola and see each other. Then after realizing that he was going to lose in Nambole, now he's dismissing his competitor.
Reactions from some of the members of parliament on the president's move to replace the Honorable Prime Minister with Dr. Ruhakana Rugunda. Let's have a look at some of the Dr. Rugunda's profile. There's quite a huge profile, and but the fact file shows he was born in Kampala district on the 7th of November 1947, attended Chigezi High School and Busoga College Mwiri, joined Makerere University Medical School and later the University of Zambia, where he studied medicine. He studied at the University of California, Berkeley, and obtained the degree of Master of Science in Public Health. Worked as a medical officer in Zambia, as a physician at DC General Hospital in Washington, D.C., and at Kenyatta National Hospital in Nairobi, Kenya, before joining Uganda politics. Rugunda was part of the Uganda People's Congress and was said to be close to the late President Apollo Milton Obote. And in July 2006, Rugunda led a team of Ugandan peace negotiators to Juba, south in Sudan, to hold peace talks with the Lord's Resistance Army. January 2009, he was appointed Uganda's permanent representative to the United Nations. He twice served as the president of the Security Council. On the 27th of May 2011, he was reassigned to the Information and Communication Technology Ministry as full cabinet minister. And in May 2013, he was transferred to the Health Ministry as minister, replacing Christian Nodor, who became an advisor to the president on public health matters. He has formerly held the following positions in the Ugandan government: Minister of Information, Internal Affairs, Health, Foreign Affairs, Minister of Information and Communication Technology, Minister of Works and Transport and Communication, Water, Lands and the Environment, and Commissioner for Animal Industry, Game and Fisheries, Chairman of the NRM Electoral Commission, Member of Parliament for Kampala Municipality, and President of the Governing Council of the United Nations Environment Program, UNEP. Moving on, the Court of Appeal has dismissed with costs a petition filed by Jude Mbabari, a former contender of the Bukoto Central seat, who challenged the election of Vice President Edward Sekandi in 2011. The court ordered the petitioner Jude Mbabari to meet Sekandi's legal costs. Shortly after 2011 general elections, Mbabari petitioned the Masaka High Court challenging the election of Sekandi, who was then the Speaker of Parliament. He accused Sekandi of using state machinery during his campaigns in violation of the Parliamentary Elections Act. But later, Mbabari withdrew the case from the High Court to allow an out-of-court settlement. He then petitioned the Constitutional Court for an interpretation whether Sekandi was justified to use the state resources as he campaigned. The appeal was before four justices: Remy Kasule, Ruby Opio Aweri, Solomon Barungi Bosa, and Kenneth Kakuru. They ruled that Mbabari had come to the wrong court since there was no need for a constitutional interpretation. They advised him to return to the High Court, but Mbabari says he has ordered his lawyers to appeal to the Supreme Court. We're going to take a short break. NTV at One comes back with many more stories that are making headlines this afternoon.
Use White Star Laundry Bar Soap with a lemon fragrance and you'll have a fresh, clean day. Be like a star. Use White Star.
Don't disturb Daddy. My daddy's the star.
White Star Laundry Bar Soap. All day fresh clean.
Are you looking for a better job? Dreaming of better working conditions? With more jobs than anywhere else and jobs that you can't find anywhere else? brightermonday.co.ug. All Ugandan jobs on one website for you to search, find and apply. It's now your time.
Ariel claims to give us the best stain removal in one wash. So we'll collect tough stains, red sand, fruit juice, chocolate ice cream. To see which gives the best stain removal in one wash, we'll wash one half with Ariel and the other with premium detergent. Did the other premium detergent remove these stains? And Ariel? Yes! Ariel, best stain removal in one wash.
"20 entrepreneurs. 20 companies compete to get the funding. From different skills and experience with different ideas. Who will it be? On Kickstart, proudly presented by Now Breweries. Coming soon on NTV.
On the next episode, brought to you by...
At Orange, we know you want to do more on the internet. That's why we bring you happy hour day and night.
Do you really think I need any help from you in any way, Daddy?
Oh, darling. You should start finding allies instead of enemies.
Look, Rose, I'm really glad that you listened to my advice. Okay, right, you may go. Go! Excuse me. Ah! I'm going to kill Rose. I'll make her life miserable. I'll ruin her.
You can download movies at the lowest prices and never fast from Orange. Dial *133# to buy a data bundle. Happy hour changes with Orange. Today changes with Orange.
Welcome back. This is NTV at 1 hour. In more breaking news, embattled Kampala Lord Mayor Arias Lukwago has dropped his deputy Sulaiman Chidandala. In the last few days, there had been reports that a section of Kampala city councillors were preparing to vote in Chidandala as Lord Mayor. Now, about 3 years ago also, Lukwago appointed Chidandala, the councillor of Kawempe, as Deputy Lord Mayor under controversial circumstances. The KCCA technical wing, led by the Executive Director, had declined to facilitate, to fund Chidandala's activities as Deputy Lord Mayor.
The mafia. Treasure hunt by the usual suspects. Treasure hunt by the usual suspects. So these are the two sources of crisis in Kampala. Political takeover, a coup using illegal means, and two, the hunt for money.
My patience and magnanimity has been overstretched. So the decision has been taken, or rather a decision has been taken that his name be withdrawn, because the person I've been fighting for to sit in the office himself has conceded that the process was incomplete by conduct, by acclamation, by whatever. So since he has considered, has agreed with Museveni, has agreed with Kayihura, with Frank Atumwebaze, that because the minutes were never signed, he cannot sit in the office, and I'm the one to sign, so I'll have to start the process afresh. I have no choice. I'll submit a new name. There is an option for him also to reform, but I'm going to sit back and work out consultations. A name will be submitted to the next sitting of the authority for approval. So we are beginning the process of appointing the Deputy Lord Mayor afresh. I must emphasize this for clarity and for avoidance of doubt, that the name of Councillor Sulaiman Chidandala, which I submitted to the authority as Deputy Lord Mayor, is hereby withdrawn. The principles of law are very clear. He who has powers to appoint has powers to disappoint.
The Lord Mayor there, flanked by Dr. Kiza Besigye, the former president of the FDC. Business executives meeting in the Rwandan capital in Kigali have singled out the poor access to markets for small and medium-sized enterprises as one of the major stumbling blocks to the growth of the region's small farms. Ingrid Natege has more from the World Export Development Forum.
Despite the challenges that small and medium enterprises experience, there appears to be one obstacle that cuts across the board and is almost unanimous to all.
If you look at goods and services, if you look at what you're talking about, shoes, a very, very big challenge is access to markets, both moving goods and people.
Experts point out, however, that the problem of lack of market is one that can easily be rectified if small and medium enterprises paid special attention to the market needs and demands. There even exist interventions to this effect.
What we're doing is tooling them, equipping them, building their capacity to produce products or to offer services that markets are interested in buying. It's step number one. If your products are not of a sufficient quality, if what you produce is not what the market is interested in buying, then you are not going to go beyond your factory gate.
Ignoring quality standards worsens the picture for SMEs.
We don't want substandard products. You don't want substandard products. I don't want substandard products. So the big lesson from standards is don't see this as an obstacle. See this as a benchmark. You have to reach this benchmark because otherwise middle classes where you are interested in selling, these middle classes that represent the huge and growing market are not going to be interested in your products or your services.
If you're an SME owner, think about your target buyers, take care that your products are the right quality and ensure that your investments are in the right places and you could just begin to turn around in your business. Ingrid Natege, NTV, Kigali.
NTV Business's Ingrid Natege down there in Rwanda. And English Premier League viewers have another massive game to look forward to this Sunday as two sides with genuine title aspirations lock horns, though the season is still early. The current Barclays Premier League champions, Manchester City, host top table Chelsea in arguably the biggest game of the season so far.
Stung by a last-minute defeat in the Champions League, Manchester City will attempt to make up ground in the Premier League title race when they host leaders Chelsea on Sunday. A 90th minute strike by former player Jerome Boateng condemned City to a 1-0 loss at Bayern Munich and left Manuel Pellegrini's side without a victory in 3 matches. Chelsea can open up an 8-point lead over the champions if they pull off a repeat of their 1-0 win at the Etihad Stadium in February. And City midfielder Fernandinho says it is a game that his side must win. Also this weekend, United have an away trip to the newly promoted Leicester City, coming off the back of an impressive 4-0 victory over QPR at Old Trafford. The game against QPR was the first time that United set up in a 4-3-3 diamond formation, and it played a major role in how well United played, so Van Gaal is likely to use a similar formation this weekend. Daley Blind is a certainty to start in the pivot midfield role behind a central midfield pairing, and so long as everyone is fit, the main selection comes in attack. Arsene Wenger will attempt to get Arsenal back on track against Aston Villa on Saturday after a frustrating week that raised questions about their chances of winning major silverware this season. Wenger's side travelled to Villa Park to face a Villa side who lies second in the Premier League with 3 wins from 4 matches, following last weekend's surprise victory at Liverpool. If they are to leave with 3 points, Arsenal will have to quickly shake off the disappointment of the 2-0 Champions League defeat at Borussia Dortmund that came 3 days after the Gunners had squandered a winning position in a 2-2 draw against Manchester City in the Premier League.
That's in sports, and that's what we're likely to see over the weekend. Mouth-watering games, including Man United, Chelsea, Manchester City and Arsenal. But now, before I go, the biggest story this afternoon is the appointment of Dr. Rugunda, a man with a huge profile as Prime Minister of Uganda, replacing the Right Honourable Mama Mbabazi. It's a story that has received mixed reactions from all corners of the political sphere and the public. Let us now have a look at some of the pictures that make Dr. Rugunda the man that he is.
Camay Beauty Soap. He's always in a hurry, but now no need to worry. I know my way to his heart. New Camay Soap with a perfume drop that lasts oh so long. And my skin feels so